Good morning. It is a new day. Good morning. 3 hours and 10 minutes. I'm just leaving the hut. I got here way too late last night with the last sunlight. It was brutal. Yesterday was extremely tough. I was walking 10 hours plus, but this hut right here, it was amazing. I don't think I'll have such a nice place ever again. It's completely new. The host Andy, he is amazing, and it's actually small rooms which you share with 8 people. It was not booked fully, so I had a room with Marie, fellow German, and yeah, she's now going up there, which would be another, I think she said 1.5 hours each way. It's a bit of a tougher terrain. And I'm going down, and I'm a bit scared because the last bit yesterday up here was scary. It's a bit of a climb, and I'm a little bit afraid of heights, but it wasn't. I think it's not too bad if you're not as exhausted as I was yesterday. So this is the part, oh, my hand is shaking. After walking for 10 hours, very steep incline. This is where I had to get up in the evening, and it doesn't look too bad, but the steps are actually quite far. You can't see that. Further up, they're quite far from each other. And if you're a short person with a big backpack, it's intense, and you don't really want to fall down there. The incline yesterday was intense. I went up to 2,300 meters, and before that I arrived by train, and I didn't really sleep on the train either because, well, I took a red eye. Can you say it for trains as well? I don't know. Well, now you've seen where we're at. It's beautiful. I wish I would have been able to see sunset yesterday, but I was busy, and now sunrise I missed because we were still sleeping. Alright, so I'm back at the bit that absolutely killed me yesterday after 10 hours. You can see there's a rope going up there, so there's some climbing, which is fine, but the hard part, not sure if you can see it, is really down there, but I won't have the camera then. It's very steep down the hill, and they have some metal bars on which you can hold on to, step onto, and then just the wood onto the rock, and you walk on all fours, and if you're lucky you're not afraid of heights. I'll be so happy when that's done. After 10 hours yesterday, I didn't think I could do that. I tried to go up on the side because it looks like that would be easier, but it's impossible. So I had to get on that sketchy bit, and I made it, but I did not enjoy it, and I didn't think I would have to come down here today. It's very steep. Up is awful, but down is not easier. So wish me luck. I made it down. Whew. It's not really something for people scared of heights. It's a bitch, I'm not gonna lie. Even today is quite hard, but I found it easier going down than up. Whatever you do, just don't go like facing front. And if you could bring a pair of longer legs, that would probably help a lot. Bad joke, such a bad joke. Okay, I'll keep on walking. So right up there on the edge, I had dinner yesterday, some bread and cucumber which I had left, because I wasn't sure how I was gonna make it. I saw I still had a very steep way up, and this way, I must say, I felt very full, because the whole time going up, from down all the way down the valley already, I felt like, oh, I'm almost there. Saw some huts there, and I was sure I had finished my day, which I needed. Not the case. Coming up here, at some point you see a flag. I think it's a Swiss flag, and you feel like, okay, I have to get up there. It looks closer than it is. You finally get up there, and it's not the hut. It's a little bit further. I definitely took a detour to get to this hut. It was beautiful. I recommend it, but I wouldn't do it again after the long day which I had. Another thing, one more thing that's really important to mention is this hike up to the hut is not a joke. I don't recommend it if you are not properly prepared. If you don't have hiking boots like mine, don't even consider. I mean it. I wasn't sure what to expect, what to pack, but I'm so glad I brought those. And also, if the weather is bad, I don't think you should go up. If there's snow, I think you will probably die. The guy in the hut said as well, if the weather does not allow to come up, you should not try. I think they also close the hut when it's real bad, but if there's bad weather, if there's snow especially, don't do it. So I made it down, and there's a couple of people going up for day trips. 2 couples, and then an older, well, a lady. She was 78, and I was complaining about how tough it was, and she's going up there. She hasn't done it herself, but apparently her son did it, so I hope that they talked it through, because as I mentioned, I found it very intense, especially the climbing part. But she had been hiking all her life. She told me about, we talked for quite a while, and she told me about her experiences, and she was lovely. She was just incredibly lovely. She told me that her husband, he passed, he committed suicide, but I reckon quite recently, and she's now going into the mountains. She's going hiking to deal with it. She said she's also in therapy, but she needs this as well. And yeah, that story really touched me. She was devastated, and it just shows you how small your worries are, to see somebody in such pain. Wow, sorry. She was lovely though. One thing she told me is that I should travel. She said, go to Australia, go to Finland, and I told her that's where I just come from, and I think that's very beautiful, that a lot of people here, they understand that no matter how old you are, now is the time to go outside, and now is the time to see the world. We don't know how long we have, and it's good to see that some people think like me, and they understand that. I think what makes hiking such an incredible sport is that you have to be very minimal in what you bring and how you, well, plan. Like yesterday I was walking for 10 hours and I knew I couldn't afford to take a rest to cook something or that kind of thing because it was getting dark. So you really have to adjust your plans as well, so that's exciting. And I think hiking is the sport for minimalists really, because you can't bring a lot. You live in very basic conditions, let's say. Either you bring your own tent, which then is very heavy and you have to carry a lot of stuff, or you sleep in huts where you share a room with a lot of other people and the mattresses, they're just next to each other. Food, everything is very simple. It's not very important, the most things you worry about most of your days. And this is just nice. All the people I've met so far and that I've talked to a bit more, they have been absolutely lovely. There's no room for your worries, there's no room for that energy, because literally on those tracks here, if you don't watch where your feet are going, you're in trouble. So you can't afford to think about anything else really. As I was just walking down, I was actually recognized by a guy that was staying at the restaurant where I just filled my water bottle last night. And he said, "You were there at 5 p.m. You actually went up to the hut here." I said, "Yes, I did." And yeah, they're doing that today, him and his wife. But also there was a mountain guide in my hut, and he said what I did yesterday is quite intense, and I agree. There was just a couple sitting in the grass there. Obviously, I'm probably one of the youngest people here, but they were lovely. They were from the French part of Switzerland, which I didn't know. I was just telling them what a nice place they had in German to sit down, and they said they didn't speak German, so I tried in English, and that was hard as well. So I went back into my French and I did terribly, but it's just about saying hi. I think that's really nice, and it's very easy to talk to people here because everybody's doing the same thing, and it's a very simple, straightforward thing to do, to hike. And there is no room for ego in the mountains, and I think that's why you get along with people really well. They all understand that, yeah, there's not much separating you from me in the end. What I learned from the old lady earlier is some Schweizerdeutsch, because when I left she said "Trag Sorge," which means carry worries, I thought. And so I told her back in German, no, I left all my worries up on the mountain, and she laughed, and she was like explaining that it means take care. And that's where the German language is very interesting, because Sorge, it does mean worry. It also means if I sorg for somebody, that I care for him. So she told me to take care, but in my mind the first thing I came up with was, if I'm carrying worries, shouldn't be that way. But yeah, learned something. Trag Sorge. Down there is somebody doing trail running. This is something I'd really like to work towards. Down there is somebody doing trail running, which is something I admire. I think that's pretty badass, and it's something I would love to work towards too. I think hiking is a very minimalist sport. I feel like it's more of a, I don't know, spiritual retreat. And I think people like Craig Adams, they get it. He's also doing some solo hiking. I think he's also done the Alps. It's very minimal, obviously, and there's no room for negativity in the mountains. You simply can't afford it. It's a very beautiful thing, and I think that's why people do it. Because, well, it goes back to being a minimalist, really. You minimize your possessions in physical form and whatever you carry inside, and you come out on the other end lighter. We don't need most of the things that we do own, and they hold us back because they need maintenance. We lose them, we worry about them. We need to keep them clean. I feel like people are always, including me, we're always decluttering, and we never get anywhere really. So living more like a minimalist allows you more capacity really for other things and less worries. I think we can all use that. Our lives are pretty short. We actually don't know how long we'll have, so why fill it with work and worry? I don't get that. And I wish that more people would be brave enough to live a life that feels authentic to them, no matter what it is that they're passionate about, and worry less about what other people think. The reason most of the people don't have enough money is because they spend it on stupid shit. Gary V. That's what he's preaching. You keep on spending your money on stupid shit to impress people that you don't even like. I'll leave it at that.
You made a mystery out of love. Breathe into life in my lungs. Why would I ever run? You brought new light. Whoa, 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 but there's no mistaking. You're the only one I want. The only one I want.
If the path continues like this, then I understand how people can do it in one day. I think you should still start earlier than I have, because I started the trail in Attinghausen at 10:30 because I was, well, arriving by train from Hamburg, Germany at 9:35, and then you take more trains, go to Altdorf, and from Altdorf to Attinghausen. So you should start there, I reckon, at between 7 and 8, and then if it continues like this, you can totally do it, because this type of path you can walk when it's dark if you're not afraid and you have a head torch. That's no problem. What I did yesterday with the hut was a detour, and it was intense. It was a beautiful hut, but if you wanted to do part 7 of the Via Alpina in one day, you can do it. Just don't take that detour. If you do a day trip, go up because it's a beautiful hut and you have a great view.
Feet are on the dashboard, my eyes on the road. I always knew I'd get here, I just thought I'd be alone. Trees tie the skyline, the sun is on the run. There's no turning back now, this love has just begun. And I've never been so sure of anything. The way you're sleeping on my shoulder, dancing in a dream. It feels like getting older, ain't as scary as it seems. When you're sleeping on my shoulder, dancing in a dream. It feels like getting older. With you is what I need. Going somewhere slowly, selling something sweet. Goodbye to the lonely, pleasure holds mine to me.
Okay, so I have a feeling in the back there, that village must be Engeldorf, where I'm staying next. This place is so epic. It's so beautiful. I'm in Engelberg region now. So as I was just walking, someone came running behind me, and it was one of the people that went up the hill where I was staying in the hut, and she came back and we walked for quite a bit. And her story is that she was working, she had a really good job. She's 32, had a great job, had a great apartment, as she said, and she always had that urge to travel and to do something more. So she was more or less secretly training. She was always training on her bike, and at some point she quit everything because she thought now she was fit enough, and she cycled for half a year, and makes me really happy because it's great to meet people that are fulfilling their dreams. And she understood how hard that can be to do something that everybody approves of. And yeah, she was lovely. Something she mentioned which I thought was really interesting, she was from Switzerland, so she's from the mountains, but she took her bike and cycled to Hamburg, for example, up to Rostock. And she said the further north she got, northeast in Germany, the more afraid people were. So people were always welcoming, she said, but the further north she got, people were really questioning what she was doing because they considered that what she was doing was not brave, but maybe more stupid to travel on her own like that. I think it's very interesting because I get that a lot as well, that people question whether it's a good idea to travel by yourself as a young woman. And I think there's always two sides to a story. If you are well prepared and you're not taking many risks, you'll be alright. If you don't know what you're doing, you might run into trouble. But either way, you won't know until you go. So I think the positives far outweigh the negatives. Just be smart when you travel.
You made a mystery out of love. Breathe into life in my lungs. Why would I ever run?
This is probably the absolute most wonderful spot. And I think I'm gonna make some coffee here because I only have about 1.5 hours left to go for today. So let's say 2 hours. It's only just before 1. Perfect. Today is a chill day. And I'm very happy. It's gorgeous.
Sunlight through the window shade. The shadows dance across your face. We could stay inside all day and dream about the life we'll make. Maybe the dark clouds want us to figure out that we don't need a thing but this right here and now. So if you miss me sometimes, know that tomorrow there will be light, and in the morning or the dead of night, just know I'm your human and you are mine.
Alright, so this is my setup. I'm at this beautiful waterfall, but I'm excited for coffee.
Tear off all your skin, give your heart to me. Every single scar is a masterpiece. You only see the dark, but I see the seams. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? You feel like a beggar, but you're royalty. Heart so full of flowers growing wild and green. Dig your nails into the dirt, then you find the seeds. They're singing, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Ooh. You know I can't stop, baby, I'm paralyzed by fear. But whenever you are near, I feel like I could live forever. I feel like
I don't know what to say. There's so many people that I've talked to today because there's a lot more people on the trail. I just talked to a couple and they were so lovely. They're Swiss, and we talked for a long while and we got along really well, so they invited me for dinner at their home, but it's quite far from here, and they said it's okay, we're gonna pay for the train and everything. They were so lovely, but we figured out that it's not on my way at all. And they said, oh, that's no problem. We're gonna meet up in Lauterbrunn, which is my last stop. And they said they want to take me up the mountain because they said you have to see that, it's so beautiful. We just went for a drink just now. And we're probably gonna meet up in Lauterbrunn. They're not even from here, they're from Zug, so it takes them a bit to get here, but they said we're retired and we would love to. Great people. They're really, really sweet. Good times. Yeah, we just sat down for something to drink, and I'm now further walking to Engelberg. They told me I should go back a little and do a different route because it's nicer, so I'm doing that. And I just passed this old house, and there's an even older couple sitting in front of it, and they were so sweet. I'm not sure if the guy understood me much. They had a cat as well. It was just the perfect picture. Like, imagine a Swiss hut, really old, and then those two people in front of it, so original. So they were lovely. We had a chat, mostly the woman and I, and they thought it was crazy that I was coming here from Hamburg, and they asked if I had friends here that I was visiting, and they were just very, very open. And it's such a good feeling to just talk to people, be nice, and people being nice in return. It's a good day. It's very good people here. I have no idea how I got so lucky, but this is the crash pad, they call it. This is where I'm staying tonight. Quick tour. Bathroom. Just a toilet here. Then across, one for guys, one for girls, is a shower. Ooh. don't know how this works. Oh, there you go. Shower. The nice thing is there's even towels for everybody. This is so good. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in here. But apparently tonight I'm by myself. She gave me this bed, which I think is great. There's 3 power outlets for everybody. There's safes down here if you wanted to store something. There's little boxes underneath the bed. You can borrow stuff, it says here, hair dryer, all that stuff. And this is the view. Let's open this, get some fresh air. Engelberg is over there, so you can see. And then this is the view. Happy, very lucky. There's a great area downstairs. There's a terrace, beautiful, and inside is also really nice.